What is going on, guys? This is the Bogey Free podcast for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. I am your host, Evan Cheney. Today, joined by Matt Jones. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm good. I'm fired up. Tomorrow's the last day of school. We have
You went to school this late?
like why can't I just be excited? I don't understand.
It's only 50 seconds in. Already crushed your dreams.
Like I don't get it. Like I literally just said I'm excited that school's about to be over.
Our schools ended. Well, I mean, I've been done since April, but I mean the local school districts have been done since a week or two ago.
Yeah, but aren't yours the kindergarten centers around here are closed? Like you go to kindergarten.
I go where? You had such a nice burn on me, and then this thing decided to just cut out.
I made a kindergarten joke. Anyway, we do go this late, and I am excited nonetheless, despite how apparently long our school year is. I don't think you are.
I am.
I don't know. What's worse? Having to go to school until June 26th or touting the shit out of Ches Reavy for months and not winning any money off of it? Which I don't know. Which one of those two things is worse?
That second one seems a little lethal.
That's fatal. Just a hypothetical. I just snatched that right.
No, these are real things. No, I understand that.
Completely hypothetical. Just random thing that popped into my head.
That's fine.
In other news, isn't it? It's kind of a ballsy thing to like have a tournament, like the first edition of a tournament, and call it the Classic.
Yeah, it was kind of a unique move.
Right.
I've heard a lot of things about Detroit Golf Club too. I don't hear the greatest things in the world. I heard you walk 6 blocks away and you're quote dead.
Yeah,
that is what I heard from a local.
Not only that, like the poor people that work at the pro shop or whatever that have just been fielding phone calls from everybody who has a Twitter account with PGA DFS in the description. Just real.
Is that why they're striking?
Just real bad. Like yeah, that was something special.
I feel like this tournament's going to be a shit show. Not the actual golf, but everything behind the scenes. There's just going to be so many problems.
Yeah, I don't imagine it's going to be great. I think it was Feinberg that was tweeting it out in the beginning of the week, and everybody kind of piled on. But I think everybody's kind of feeling like a little bit of a letdown this week, just because there's no data to go off of. Like we've never seen this course before. We can guess how it's going to play. But really, like we haven't, I'm trying to think back. I don't think we've had a course this year that has just straight up never been played before. I'm scrolling through the schedule now, and I don't think so.
I mean, I guess the closest thing you can say we've had to that is maybe you can say Pebble, only because of the configuration being unique.
But even that's even like, we've seen a U.S. Open there. Like I feel like, I don't know, a couple years ago, like the course in Mexico, that was brand new, so it was a similar thing. And I guess Trinity Forest right last year, but God, like it's kind of nuts.
You don't get new courses too often.
No, we don't. And even if it like they change tournaments, but it's a course that we've seen before. So we have a couple of weeks coming up here where this is the case, where either it's a brand new course that we've never seen before, or a course that we've seen very, very sparingly. So going to be interesting to see this week what scores are like. Maybe there's an edge there. Probably not, but
no.
Somehow there will be an edge. We just don't know what it is yet.
Well, we have to wait until next year, really, to talk about the edge.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but for what we do know about the course, we do know it's Detroit Golf Club. We do know that it's going to be played as a par 72, a little bit over 7,300 yards. The course itself is sort of a combination of two courses that are there. There's a few holes that they're playing from. I think it's called the South Course, and then the rest of it is the North Course, but it's not the same order. So it's all screwy. Like even the people who have played it before haven't played it like this. So I guess we'll see what happens. My gut feeling is, I looked at par 72s of like this kind of length, and there's a slight a slight edge to having some distance off the tee. But this is a Parkland course, which is going to be reasonably tree lined, and going way, way off the fairways is definitely going to get you into trouble. So it can't just be like a bomb and gouge kind of guy. But if you can hit a few fairways here and there, the course is definitely gettable. So we'll see. We'll see what the winning score is. I've seen guesses anywhere from like 16 under to like 24 under. So
I mean, it just seems like it's going to play really easy.
Right. There's not a heck of a lot that the course, other than growing the rough, from what I understand, it's a pretty straightforward track. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, who knows? Yeah. Maybe there's a wind advantage for one of the waves. Maybe there's something crazy that happens that we can take advantage of. But for the most part, I think you just kind of have to go simple this week and just, find, we say it every week, but find the ball strikers and, hope they do what they need to do off the tee to get themselves into position.
Just play the guys that can play golf.
Yeah. I don't understand why this is so difficult.
All right. I mean, yeah, you talk about ball striking. So, I don't know. You want to talk about some of the chalk here?
Sure, why not? Who you got?
Right. Actually, let's talk about Ice Hoya first. Let's congratulate Ice Hoya.
Oh yeah, let's freaking Sussman. Yeah, just feel really great for the guy. Really, definitely needs the money. Mike Sussman, he's one of the sharper guys around. So congratulations, Mike. More of my money that you've taken over the past couple of years. So congrats. I'm really happy for you, if you couldn't tell.
Really just wanted to point that out for you. Just you specifically.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about these chalk guys here before you get any more depressed.
Okay.
All right. So we do have Dustin Johnson at 12,000. We have Hideki Matsuyama at 10,200. Who we can be considering as the expensive chalk this week. Obviously, there's no marks against either of these guys. I mean, they're definitely two players that can score a ton and do well at an easy course like this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as we know.
Right.
Right. I mean, Dustin Johnson is probably the best ball striker in this field. I don't know who would even come close to him, relatively.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Hideki, who should probably have many titles under his belt by now, but can't putt.
Yeah, I mean, like DJ at 12,000, I'm pretty sure it's the first time this year that we've seen a guy at 12,000. I can't really think of any others. But yeah, I mean, it obviously makes a ton of sense, right? Like he finished in like 35th at the U.S. Open, but he had his third worst putting performance that he's ever had, and he gained almost 10 strokes tee to green, even though he, quote unquote, didn't play well. So you can't really tell me that there's any sort of a reason to fade him. The only issue is like, where are you going down at the bottom to fit a $12,000 golfer with anybody else that you really want to roster? It's a super top heavy, super weak field, and you're gonna have to make some tough decisions if you're going to play a guy at $12,000.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that truly depends on how you feel about value, in the lower echelon of the pricing spectrum.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, just because you put a guy like Dustin Johnson at 12K in there, and it's like, how much more can you fit? So nothing else to add to that. Really, just there's really no golf reason as to why DJ or Decky should be taken out of your player pool. I mean, you can certainly factor in ownership. You can certainly factor in, I don't know, maybe variance to some type of degree, but really there's no physical golf reason why either of these two guys should be faded.
Yeah, no, Decky is
Yeah.
the move.
Yeah.
There's no reason that he should be 10-2 in this field. I tweeted about it during the week, I think either yesterday or this morning. But with the model that I've been building, I used it to sort of build my own DraftKings pricing algorithm. And I have Hideki this week at 11,200. So you're saving $1,000 off of what the model is pegging him at. So, yeah, but I mean, besides like if you can save $1,800, and I mean, what is Hideki in the model? He's probably 85 or 90% of DJ. So like that $1,800 is going to mean that you can go, from rostering a $7,000 golfer to an $8,800 golfer as another spot in your lineup. So I just feel like Hideki is just the ultimate smash this week. He shouldn't be. I don't think he should be less than Ricky. And you can make the argument that he should be pretty close to Gary, even though he just came off of the major win.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go down to our cheaper chalk guy here, which at 9K might not be, your textbook definition of inexpensive value. However, Billy Horschel at 9K, kind of hard to ignore.
Billy
Especially when he's 27th in this field in ball striking.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's gone a little bit underappreciated how well he's been playing, and he gets this rap, and I'm guilty of it too, sort of pointing out like when he's on a hot streak and whatever else. But he's made 6 cuts in a row. But if you zoom out a little bit further, he has made 22 of his last 23 cuts, and during that stretch there, he's had 12 top 25 finishes. So I don't know. I mean, I struggle to think that he should be $9,000 in this field. I put him at 9,600. So I feel like there's a pretty decent amount of value there. And I mean, the guys around him, like you can for sure, you could tell yourself a story where they're going to do pretty well, but you can also find some holes that are a little concerning. So I am very, very much into Billy Ho this week.
As people should be. I mean, he's a very talented golfer, and I think he's priced under guys where he shouldn't be priced under.
Right.
Right. So just for that reason alone, he's just a good relative value.
Yeah. Like Brandt Snedeker shouldn't be.
Yeah, Brandt should not be 99, which we can get into that once we get to our GPP plays, which I think this is a perfect segment for.
There you go. Look at you.
As we go into our GPP plays running down this field here, obviously we talked about DJ and Matsuyama already, but there's still Fowler, Woodland. I mean, you have Snedeker, Ches up there in 95 and Overland. Where are you going? I mean, Fowler clearly is certainly a cheaper pivot from DJ, where we can certainly go to. Yeah,
you could.
But I know who you prefer though.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously prefer Decky there. Of these top 7 guys, like it's DJ by a pretty clear margin, and then after Decky, right below him, like Fowler, Woodland, and Ches are all super close in the model. It's probably an ownership thing for me. I don't see myself ending up getting on Ricky, to be totally honest. Like I get the argument for him, but I don't feel like his ownership is going to be low enough where I will feel comfortable playing him this week. And then, like I just mentioned it, like Brandt's just an auto fade. Like there's no reason to play Snedeker at 9,900. And then who else we got? And then Ryan Moore. Like Ryan Moore is fine. He's another guy who's just like, I don't know, maybe he goes super under owned and maybe he can do pretty well. Like I know he played decent last week, gained strokes all over the place, and I think finished in like the top 20. So that's fine. For this field at like 9,500 it's not egregious, but I do think it's a little high.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I'm kind of looking at the pricing here. There is quite a few overpriced golfers that we can talk about as we go down the list here. I mean, Ches, though, at 9,700. You know, the ultimate DFS whack-a-mole guy for me, because every time I play him, he misses the cut. I tout him. And then I kind of hold back a little bit, and then he starts dominating. T3 at US Open, wins the Travelers. I think this is just God's way of telling me that I shouldn't be gambling.
Certainly possible.
Could be. I'm not going to take the advice though, which may or may not be a good thing. But but I think Ches here at 9,700. I mean, I'm obviously kind of shocked to see him this highly priced, just because of how much he's been priced in the past. But obviously you can't take that into consideration, and his recent performance should be the things that are taken in. And it kind of makes sense at 9,700 to play him, just because on the run he's on.
Yeah.
That's not a very confident yeah.
No, I
Don't tell
get
me
it.
you're gonna fade Ches.
It's just one of those things where like I don't know, like how do guys do the week after their first win in like 11 years? Is there a trend we can pull up?
I don't know. You've tweeted things in the past that say that trends are not something we should latch on to.
Well, I mean that's kind of where I'm going with this. Like from just like understanding how like human beings work, I feel like it would be a tall order for him to go from like the emotions of winning on Sunday for the first time since like you were in diapers to then going and like just being able to smash here. I don't know. For $500, I'll find the $500. Like I'm just gonna play Hideki. Like that's really what it comes down to. If Hideki wasn't in the field and it was just Brandt and Ryan Moore and Patrick Reed around him, then sure. Like I would probably end up playing him, but I just can't do it with Hideki right there.
Fair enough. Really, outside of guys we've mentioned, I'm not very excited about this upper echelon of pricing.
You're not excited?
Really not. I'm not excited.
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to be. This is the weakest field of the year by the way that I measure it, and that's including like Puerto Rico or like whatever DR, like anything. It doesn't matter. It's really, literally the weakest field.
So I can't see how this would be a weaker field than the Corrales.
Oh, it is.
Or Puerto Rico. It really is.
I mean, there's one guy in the top 10. There's like, I think 11 guys in the top 50 or something stupid. Like it really is like, just scroll through the 6,000s.
Yeah, there's some names there.
There's some names.
That's all I can say.
Like I love Smiley to death, but like Smiley's in the field. Like
he's not.
I mean, Mike Weir is in the. You know what I mean? Like these are.
Yeah, there's some guys here. There's some guys here to be a little weary of.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah.
All right, we digress.
Yeah. So as we kind of scroll down here through the pricing, we go to our 8K and up to 93. Kevin Kisner, I'm not going to play him at all. I'm not even going to touch him. Actually, the point of mentioning him is the fact that he shouldn't be a $9,100 golfer even in this field.
Wow.
Like I wouldn't even touch him at 8,500 in this field.
Shots fired.
And he's 91.
Oof.
Like the fact, like if anyone plays Kevin Kisner this week, thank you. Honestly, thank you.
Ooh boy.
Because this is not the type of place where Kevin Kisner is going to play. Honestly, he can't. Give me a good golf reason to play Kevin Kisner.
Not gonna.
Exactly.
This is
My
a wild
point.
take. This is nuts. Like he hits all the fairways and he's finally like striking it well. I don't know, man. This is
striking it
nuts.
well.
This is nuts.
Hold on. He's not striking it well.
Sure he is. He's hit more greens in regulation in the field than both of his last two starts.
Let me tell you something.
He's gaining strokes all over the place. He finished 15th last
week. Okay, he finished 15th in the Travelers. Whoop-de freaking do. Do you want a cookie?
Well, that's a hell of a lot stronger than this week's field. We just talked about this. What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, look at this. Okay, he came in 15th of the Travelers, right?
Yep.
49th at the U.S. Open, 41st at the Memorial, missed cuts at Charles Schwab and PGA, 41st at RBC. Do you really want to play this guy?
You might as well put him on like fucking Mars. He's not gonna ever make a cut at Bethpage. It's never that would never ever happen.
He's just so highly priced though. Like 9,100 is there's something wrong there.
I mean, I'm probably not gonna have a ton of them because of Horschel being right there, and obviously we'll talk about Neiman and Eam also, and even Streelman in this range. Like, I love all three of those guys this week, but I see I see the path to him doing well here. Like, that's just I don't know. That's a weird one for me.
Well, it's not as weird as things I've said about Chez in the past.
This is a fair point.
But okay. When I click on the filter of scoring relative to par, right? And on these easier courses, Kevin Kisner seems to falter relative to his competition. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to end well for him. I'm not going to say he's going to miss the cut.
This is going to end well for you.
But at 9,100, I need my guy to at least top 10. And I'd be shocked if he got top 30.
This is big time, like, old takes exposed right now.
These are takes. These are takes. These are takes. To die by these takes.
They are certainly takes.
So, goodbye, Kevin Kisner. At least for this week. Next week, maybe. I don't know. We'll get there. So, we go down the list here. Obviously, Joaquin, the Dream, Sanjay, Streelman, all three of these guys are very much in play.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they're very strong ball strikers. They are very good at just scoring the DraftKings points, especially Sanjay.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love Sanjay. He's played a ton. I think over the last couple of months, he's probably played the most rounds of anybody, even though he didn't get in to the U.S. Open. His putter got a little hot, and he finished pretty well at the Canadian. And last week he did well as also. Neiman finally popped this past week at the Travelers. I think he finished like 7th or something, 5th, somewhere around there. And then Streelman, Streelman is just an automatic play at this point for me. Like, I know that's a weird thing, but he's made 6 cuts in a row, right?
Streelman's good at golf.
Four top 15 finishes. Like last week, we have the pivots tool over at RotoViz, and he popped as a pivot for Brooks, like after the U.S. Open, like the week after the U.S. Open. That's an insane thing, right? Like, you don't think, who's playing as well as Brooks Koepka? Oh, right, Kevin Streelman. But he kind of is. Like, he popped as a pivot this week off of, I think, Ricky Fowler. Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry, off of Gary. So, over the past 2 weeks, he's been like a top sim scorer for Gary Woodland, who just won the U.S. Open, and Brooks Koepka, who finished 2nd in the U.S. Open and most recently won a major. Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right.
8,600 is pretty cheap, like for this field. The model that I built for predicting pricing puts him at like almost 10K. So this is a metric shit ton of value on Streelman this week.
A metric shit ton.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a strong take.
Well, that's what I do.
A metric shit ton. I like that.
Sure,
I might use that in conversation.
But do you think anybody would walk around with a shirt that said metric shit ton of value?
I mean, it's a very context-specific shirt.
No, then that's such a good conversation piece. I'd be like, where'd you get that
What's
shirt?
A metric shit ton? Oh, yeah, I gamble.
I listen to Bogey Free, and
I still want my
no Ches. One time.
I still want my no Ches, no cheddar shirt. We'll make it.
No, I can't. I can't really land on a good like design. We gotta brainstorm a little bit. It's definitely being made.
We can talk. All right. Anyway. So we go down the list here, right? And we have guys kind of in the mid-8s, where we have Victor Hovland, who we, of course, don't have a lot of data on.
No.
But the data we do have is very good in his favor.
Very good.
And we have Kokrak, who fits very well here. We have Wise and we have Tway. All kind of in the mid to low 8s that kind of fit and work.
You're missing a big one here, though, bud.
Oh, God.
What about Duff Daddy?
Duff Daddy? Duff Daddy doesn't really set well here for me.
No?
I
don't know if we're looking at the same course, man.
I don't know, man. I don't.
He's also has like the 9th most tags right now.
I don't know. Like, you know what? I wasn't even looking at the right guy. I saw Duffner. And it lined, I don't know. Computers are weird. Duffner's fine. Play him. Who cares? Don't listen to me. No, it just... Yeah, just go ahead. Talk about it.
I really do like all the guys that you mentioned. Like, I tweeted about it on Friday. Hovland is like just dragging his nuts on the ground after ending up making that cut. Like, he triples 10 on Friday to fall outside the cut line and goes bogey free the rest of the way, 2 under, and makes the cut on the number. I know he didn't play great on the weekend, but like that's a big deal because we sort of joked around a lot about it a little bit with some of these younger guys, but like that tells you a lot about like what his skill set is and how he's able to overcome shit. So Hovland's definitely a guy who I'm interested in for like until further notice. Kokrak literally had like a bottom 1 percentile outcome this past week. He had his his absolute worst putting performance, and he lost the 4th most strokes around the green that he's ever lost. Like, shit like that's not even like repeatable. Like, losing that many strokes in your short game is damn near impossible in 2 rounds. So I'm more than happy to go back to him. Even with that bad result last week, he's still is sort of popping in the model. Guys in his group finish in the top 20 around 25% of the time. So if you're gonna tell me 25% shot at finishing in the top 20, and I don't know, whatever that equates to into like a top 30 or something at 8,300 in this field, I'm more than fine with that. Tway played really well last week also. And I can get behind a little bit of Duffner. If the ownership goes crazy on him, then I'm out. Like, he's played really well over his last 7 or 8 starts. After just being awful in the beginning of truly awful. Like, 8 starts in the beginning of the season and he didn't crack the top 60. But since then he's played a lot better, and it's really just depends on the ownership. for me with him.
Yeah, I mean he's bounced back quite a bit. It's only missed one cut in his last 5 starts, so not crazy there. I mean we can go on down the line here. I mean you have some guys in the high 7s, where you have Benny On,
Yep.
you have Killa Keith, you have Charlie Hoffman. Charlie Hoffman screwed over a lot of people last week, and I don't know if
Sure did.
I don't know if a lot of them are going to go back to the well, but he does set up well again here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's fine. I think I would much prefer Benny On. Honestly, I'd probably prefer KH Lee over him also. After that, you can kind of make arguments between Mitchell and Hoffman. I mean, heck, even like Jimmy Walker down here, like I wrote him up this week. He seems like a guy who can fit pretty well on a course like this. I don't know. Like I'm not super excited about any of these guys. Like I want to live in like the Hovland to Tway range and mix and match a bunch with them. Throw in some Billy Ho and some Decky, and then just find a couple guys down at the bottom that I like. That's kind of that seems like my preferred build at this point. I don't know if that's like going to be the popular build. I could see DJ's ownership going to the moon and just kind of like just seeing some really wacky lineups trying to fit like somebody else up at the top with him. I don't love the guys at the bottom enough to even screw around with that. So that's not something I'm interested in this week. Do you think there's going to be a predominance of stars and scrubs, or balanced, or you think it's going to be a pretty good mix this week?
I think the logic's going to go and say, DJ's the most likely by far to win.
Yeah, he's like plus 500, which is just like bonkers.
Yeah, so people are going to look at that and be like, all right, I need DJ in my lineup. Right, because people, I mean, DraftKings scoring wise, you need the guy who's going to win. Because the guy that ends up winning, a lot more likely than not, is in the winning lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the lineup that's going to win the GPPs, regardless of where he finishes, or regardless of where he's going to win, regardless of price. Yeah, because the guy that wins can only finish in one spot.
Yeah,
but yeah, and people are gonna, yeah, it comes
great.
out more idiotic than
it happens.
Yeah, of course. But like, people are gonna put DJ in, and then they're gonna try and they have to punt somewhere.
Right.
All right. I mean,
I just feel like that's not smart. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, like.
I mean, in order to not play DJ, you have to really know who else would win. Or you have to figure out, like, okay, DJ can screw up here, but how?
Yeah, but if my thought process, and this is kind of a tangent, and since there's not a hell of a lot of guys left that I really feel like talking about anyway, I think we can go on this tangent for a minute. Yeah. But so let's say DJ is, I don't know, plus 400. No, he's not going to be plus 400. When the line's close, he'll probably be like plus 550. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So that gives him a 15% chance of winning the tournament. Like, that's the implied probability. So that's great. And that's by far going to be the highest probability of anybody in the field. But if you have to dip down into, a guy who's what, plus 15,000 or something stupid, then you're kind of limiting your chances there, right? Because what if DJ doesn't win then? What if he, quote unquote, only comes in 8th place? Like he's not in the winning lineup then. And your other option is a guy who has less than a 1% chance of winning, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to roster 6 golfers. You kind of have to figure, there's going to be golfers in your lineup who you know are going to be more likely to win than others. Right? I mean, you really can't. I mean, theoretically, you can spread it out evenly and say, okay, this is going to be the lineup that in total has the highest probability of having the winner. Right? But
yeah. But what I'm sort of getting at is like, does the balanced lineup, is it enough to get you to a point where you feel like you have the same percentage chance of hitting a winner with the other guys? So like if you fill out your lineup with a bunch of guys who are like between, you know, plus 2,000 to plus 4,000 or whatever, do you have the same like basic probability to hit the winner then? And you do, like you do. It's just mathematically you do. So I don't know. I don't know if it's better to have 6, you know, decent shots at the winner, or 1 really good shot and like 3 maybe super outside shots, and then 2 guys that, like, for all intents and purposes have no business, like no reason to ever think that they could possibly win. And I understand that the super cheap guys that you're going to roster don't need to win necessarily to pay off, but you're still taking win equity out of your lineup to do that. So you have to feel pretty confident that DJ should really be like plus 300 to win. And I don't know, like, if we run this tournament 100 times, does he win a quarter of the time? I don't know. Maybe he does, because of how weak the field is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, you do have to, you know, if you do want to differentiate, though, you do have to dip down here. Because
Maybe.
if you're gonna tell me that a balanced lineup's gonna be popular, well, there's only a handful of golfers that are viable. I mean, can you really tell me that there's more than 40 viable golfers this week? If that? I mean, that's a very tight player pool.
Yeah.
So I think you might just want to go start in scrubs just to possibly differentiate yourself, because you might not differentiate yourself with a guy like DJ, but you might be able to do so with some of these cheaper guys who, there are some guys here that can perform, right? I mean, you have here at 7,300, like, you have Corey Connors and, you know, I don't want to mention him, but Max Homa, because he just made me perform an ultimate tilt last week. But like,
that was something. That was very out of character for you, by the way. Just to peel the curtain back a little bit. Like, we joke and we have, you know, our little tilt chats every once in a while, but like, there were threats. Like, there were legit things that can't be repeated about certain guys last week. So
Max Homa and Jonathan Blixt were not favorably viewed.
Jesus Christ, you just said Jonathan Blixt again.
Oh, Jonas. I mean. Why do I keep calling him Jonathan? Who the fuck knows?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But I'm on them both again, because I like their statistical fit here still.
Okay.
So Max, you get Jonas, maybe even Sepp Straka. How do you feel about Sepp?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to go there last week. What is he, like 6,900?
Very nice price.
Yeah, like I would prefer, like, in leaps and bounds, I'd rather just play like Lebiota at 6,900. Like, if I end up going super cheap, if I do build a couple of stars and scrubs lineups, like, I'm gonna have way too much Lebiota. It's gonna be a bad situation for me, probably. I don't really. There's a couple other guys down there, like at 7,000. Like, Tringali makes sense. Like, Blixt is. I know he didn't quite get there last week, but I still feel like he has played reasonably well recently, and like we said, this field is awful. Like, there's not a hell of a lot to like down here.
Absolutely not.
I think Connors is a good call. I like Connors quite a bit. I think Sam Burns makes a little bit of sense here.
What about your namesake?
And Matt Jones, yeah.
Yes. Again, I still feel like this is a narcissistic play on your part.
Yeah, well, I've been called worse. Yeah, I mean, but realistically, like, how much cut equity do these guys like?
Oh, not much, no.
You know, you have like Sebastian Munoz down here, like Fratelli.
There's guys that fit, but like, I don't know. I feel like in order, the player pool kind of has to be extended just a little bit more than these handful of golfers that we're calling viable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because I know it's a weak field, but we have to roster someone. And especially if you're the type that's going to max enter in 150, I feel like you have to have a little bit more than maybe 20 golfers.
If you can figure out a way to build 150 lineups this week, then God bless. Like,
yeah,
I really don't think I could if I tried.
Yeah, the only thing that I can feel, I feel as if it was more difficult to build 150 lineups was that match play. The match play was very difficult to build lineups for.
Yeah.
And this is even more so. No, not more so, but a little less so than that. Just because of a weak field. Yeah. But, I mean, again, you have to roster 6 guys, and hopefully you win some cash this week.
There you go. That's the dream. I think 20 lineups is like the sweet spot this
20,
week.
I think 20 is always the sweet spot.
Well, no matter what that's all I ever really do.
Yeah.
150, you're just like, I feel like I'm throwing too many darts, and I just end up building, you know, say 80, 90 lineups that are just stupid. You know what I mean? Like they're just, there's not certain weeks there's a reason for it, but a lot of the time, even if I sit down to try and do it, I'm like, oh, why? Like, why do I need, you know, 15% of this random $7,100 golfer when I could just play him in one lineup and have 5%? Like, it's just, I don't know.
I get it.
It's not my thing.
Yeah. I think we've gone through the golfers. I don't think there's anything really much else to discuss here except for our cash locks.
Yeah, man.
I'll start us off here. DJ and Ches.
There you go. Look at you. Just ready, prepared, willing, and able. I've talked about him enough this show. I'm going Decky and Billy Ho.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Pretty
all right,
yeah.
What?
No, I was gonna say it's a pretty good week, I think, to build a balanced lineup and throw a couple like double ups and triple ups.
Good
I think
week
that's
to start.
That's the way I'm going this week.
It's a good week to start researching the Open. That's how I've
we're getting ready for 3M.
3M.
I think Boots is coming on next week though, so
God,
it's gonna be lit.
All right, that'll do it for us. This has been the Bogey Free Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on both YouTube and iTunes under Bogey Free DFS. And of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.
See ya.